Xavi would say yes immediately if Manchester United call, according to Fabrizio Romano. Now, the drama just doesn't stop, does it? And I feel like we're going to get a lot of this, especially after the weekend. We got another international break. So whoever the new manager may be, if there's going to be a new manager, if there's going to be a decision, it's kind of narrowing itself down. You saw a piece yesterday with Glasner, and of course that he would join Manchester United in a heartbeat, practically begging for the job. But if you haven't done so yet, smash the likes. You know how important likes are. The more likes there are, I might get a new subscriber. It could be now, it could be later, could be after the video, who knows. And also, of course, subscribe is important. So that's that. We can dive straight into all of this. And let me know what you feel about Xavi as well, because I can't be the only one that has reservations and correct ones to justify them. But yeah, Fabrizio did say in his podcast, whatever, that Xavi would love to return to football as soon as possible. He is ready, and Manchester United is pretty much the job that he is eyeing up, probably at the top of his list. I don't know which or what other club is currently on the market for him right now. Could it be Maresca's Chelsea eventually? I don't know. But the way I look at things, this is just my 2 pence. Is this story credible? Yeah, probably. It's from Fabrizio, I suppose. You can't really say no to it. Is Man United making moves? The question is, again, I think they are. I think they're going to keep denying reports, and they're going to keep denying. And in the end, they're going to have a short list, just like, it's kind of a repeat of last year. Let's be honest with ourselves. And then before you know it, pull the trigger, and then, someone else brand new comes in the door. There's talks of Carrick as well coming in as interim, and of course, Carrick will love that. But I don't know if he is the man to lead United forward. And I'm pretty sure it's too much of a high risk for someone like Jim Ratcliffe to probably give over, even though he keeps advocating for the likes of Southgate. Anyways, my whole 2 pence on Xavi. Again, I like the fact that Xavi is the player he was. He prioritizes the midfield, which is a huge, huge bonus. Something that we have been... I think we've been yearning for that since Paul Scholes left pretty much. We haven't had a balanced midfield since Jose Mourinho's Herrera, Pogba and Matic, which lasted pretty much 1 year. Xavi would sort a lot of that out, but not with this current bunch. What I must say as well, on the positive side of things, of course, he won the league with Barcelona, and he gave 11 debutants as well a go. Like many youngsters, a go at the game to see what's gonna, if they're gonna be good enough or not. Likes of Pedri, Gavi, and so forth. So that's a positive. So Second Kone, could he be the answer? Again, who knows? But if you're going to get Xavi, I just don't think he's someone that you bring in mid-season, and he's more of a manager that you probably want to bring in the summer, because I feel like we need someone that can adapt the team now, and I'm not too sure if he's going to adapt the team for what it is right now until later. I have those reservations. And also the fact that he's coming over from, obviously, La Liga, from his, obviously, recent experience, I think it's too much of a high risk, right? Considering the position that we're in and how desperate we are. You'd think you want to shop around in the Premier League. That's why I have my reservations. Now, there's, of course, reports saying that he's studying the Premier League. Well, I don't know how much you need to study. You can kind of tell which kind of players you need and which current players you don't need. But as Xavi said, do not treat the ball like a bomb. And then a lot of Man United fans started getting onto Bruno, including myself, about things like that. So will he work with the current lot? I think there's a decent enough basis, but in the way I'm viewing things, I just don't think this current bunch suits what he can provide or would want to do. So that's where I'm at with him. Would I say no to him? Of course not. And in the eyes of Ineos, he is, of course, an easy purchase because he's free. So if bringing him in would be super, super easy. And would United back him in the summer? Well, yeah, because we are looking to revamp the midfield. So he would get that time. And of course, he can implement his style, his way, his philosophies. But one thing I'm not trying to hear is that he needs a preseason. I don't really want to hear that anymore. Because it's like with Amorim, there was a lot of excuse to players, which I gave him, and then saying he needs a preseason to kind of get his, ideas across. I don't want to hear that. Someone needs to come in right now that's going to get us results straight away. Xavi, being in a big job before in Barcelona, in something quite similar to what we're in, because we're in a lot of debt, and also alongside that, we're in a bit of a pickle, just like Barcelona was back then when he took over. Can he replicate the same thing? Again, I don't know. I just don't know what kind of player he would love other than Kobe Manu in this team and maybe Xerxes. Cunha, of course, as well. But the fundamentals of his game, I don't know which tactical can really break down what Xavi ball really is. But let me know what you feel like with Xavi, obviously, in the comments. Because I've seen a lot of comments, whether it's on the live or previous videos, we should be bringing him in. I need convincing by you guys to tell me why he'd be the perfect fit over the likes of a Glasner or Iraola. I'm not saying that, like, of course you're going to say, well, Manchester United's a big job. There's a lot of pressure that comes with it. Xavi would know that pressure. But I would say there's a lot of pressure in the Premier League as well, even if at smaller clubs these days, whether it's Brighton, whether it's Bournemouth, or whether it's flipping Newcastle or so forth. I think there's a lot of pressure riding on how to get wins over the line in the Prem. And this is where I'm thinking, you know, United might be a high-pressure job like no other, but does he have the minerals to land us? Is it his way or the highway? And I know he doesn't attack exactly with fullbacks, and them quotes are coming out at the moment. You know, if he's going to attack, he's going to attack through his wingers, not his fullback, blah, 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 blah. But that's all nice. But United need W's, and United need W's fast. And of course, if he's going to play a bit more of a possession game, I just don't think that's going to suit United. I mean, it'd be nice, but packing out the midfield would be something different. Prioritizing the midfield again is going to be something different. It's just too many questions, man, that I have over this. And it's not down to me. It's down to Ineos. It's down for them to, you know, do their research and make sure they get their correct guy. But the way I'm viewing it is, Xavi, like, when it comes to United, we're not even that defensively solid. He probably loves someone like Yoro. He probably loves someone like De Ligt. You know, Mazraoui as well. So he could probably work underneath what he needs. You know, Laman's being one of the young goalkeepers. He could be really good for the youngsters, which is, you know, it is United's philosophy. And I feel like United strayed away from, you know, youngsters, youth, you know, attack. Like, it's kind of gone away from that. And I'm not in favour. And that's what really jars me when it comes to Amorim, where I feel like there's no real pathway for them. You know, when you say Yoro's always going to start. You paid 60 million for him. Of course, he's going to have to start and get game time. You know, I just feel like even with Kobe, this is kind of a similar situation with Ahmad and, of course, Ten Hag when he was in charge. But obviously, Xavi, you can tell that he's a real believer in the youth. So that's just the positives. But anything else beyond that, you know, if he's going to try and impose this game obviously on Manchester United, it's just, look, I think it's a risk with any manager that you're going to bring in, because they're coming from smaller clubs, and it's obvious, of course, it's a different kettle of fish. But yeah, I would welcome the appointment of Xavi. It's just, what does Ineos think right now? What is the real answers from them? Like, we will never know. I think we'll only get some small indications if something goes very, very left against Sunderland. Because as soon as we come back against Sunderland, come on, we've got Liverpool, we've got Brighton, we've got Tottenham, and I think we've got, is it Crystal Palace? I can't remember who else we got, but we got someone that's not exactly easy, and that takes you past November. You just don't want to be wasting no more time. And one thing I really don't want is wasting time. So that's why I'm looking at Premier League proven coaches that, you know, they know what it is, that know what it takes for us or for a team to kind of, you know, register W's convincingly. Like Thomas Frank going to Spurs, he's shored up the defence, the structure's there. Their attack is quite poor, I must admit, but they're getting the job done and it's getting over the line, and I'm sure he's going to get back correctly the next time they have a good transfer window, like whether it's the summer, maybe even in January. But who knows? Let me know in the comments. Give me your thoughts. Convince me. That's the better question. That's the better statement, sorry, not the question. And why is he the better fit over the likes of a Glasner, who has recently been linked? And even Iraola, to be fair. So yeah, that's the latest. Hopefully we get a little bit more news, because we're playing one game a week, lads and ladettes. So yeah, love. Smash the likes.